actually going and doing some live video shoots. Real Talk took the initiative to find out suppliers of wheat in the world that National Flour Mill could go to. So now Romano is saying the company is not going to raise any price in the near future. Why? Why? Is it because the S-boss and they realize now that, hey, it is in the public domain that we could go right Mexico and buy flour and wheat? We could go right China and buy wheat? I am about change. And thus far, Real Talk is very effective in Trinidad and Tobago coming towards making changes for the citizens. Public Utility Minister Marvin Gonzalez have urged the population to appreciate and be grateful for the availability of the utilities. This, as Gonzalez recalled, time in his life when he had to fetch water using a bucket from a nearby river. Gonzalez, I want you to understand something. I want you, Mr. Gonzalez, to understand something. You are being paid thousands of dollars by public utility, by the finance ministry, to govern WASA. Come on. To govern WASA, I want you to understand that you ain't going in no office for no free code. You are being paid. Do not tell me that I, Saeed, have to be grateful for the water I get it. Let me tell you something, Gonzalez. Every 4 months, I have to pay $400 and I get water once a bloody hell month. So don't come on a media briefing and say, Saeed, you have to be contented. You have to be happy. Marvin, the next best thing for you to do is to resign and get the hell out of here. and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed. I'm your host, Saieed. We do want to thank you for joining us, viewers. So, a little bacchanal in Trinidad and Tobago in the political arena. Prime Minister Dr. Saieed Ali has responded to Opposition West MP Dave Tanku, who asked about a Privy Council judgment in favor of the Auditors General. Tanku asked, if given a query by British Law Lord Lady Simler, Rowley would advise whether the Finance Minister will be investigated for his failure to provide relevant access to document for the Auditor General. Now, Rowley stated that he is not aware of any query by any British or other law lords, nor any failure by Minister of Finance. Listen to this.
Prime Minister, given the query by British law lord Lady Simler, will the Prime Minister advise whether the Minister of Finance will be investigated for his role in the failure to provide relevant access to the documentation, preventing the Auditor General from conducting the required audit of the national accounts of Trinidad and Tobago?
I am not aware of any query by any British or other law lord, and I am not aware of any role of the Minister of Finance in failing to provide information to the Auditor General.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, sometimes I wonder if our Prime Minister has a hearing aid that he turns on and off sometime. Press, news, social media had the same saying from the British law lords, how it is that the Finance Minister is not being investigated. But Dr. Rowley said he is not aware of those things. Imagine that. This making headline news in the press, in the news and social media around the world. But Dr. Rowley is not aware of it. Is Dr. Rowley aware of anything that is taking place in Trinidad? This is the man that is governing the country. This is the man who is the head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago. This is the man that we call the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. He's the leader of the PNM political party, and he is saying to us as a citizen that he is not aware of this. And this has been making headlines for days in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, you know what? I wouldn't blame him for saying that. Maybe he's a little senile, but nevertheless, maybe his hearing aid was off. But remember when we had the COVID and Dulcie Rodriguez came into Trinidad and Tobago where no plane and boats were allowed to enter our country? You all remember that? Remember the Prime Minister said to us that he didn't know who come in the plane? A plane was given clearance to land in Trinidad and Tobago, but the National Security Ministry didn't know who was in the plane. The Prime Minister didn't know who was on the plane, but that plane got clearance to land on the runways of Trinidad and Tobago when no boat or aircraft was allowed to land in Trinidad and Tobago. And these men in high places takes the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago for some donkeys. For some donkeys. Yes? And what do we as a citizen do? We take it and we swallow it. We swallow it. British law lord ask a question. How it is that the Finance Minister has not been investigated. It made headline news for days in Trinidad and Tobago. Probably traveled across the globe. But the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is not aware. Director, play back that clip one more time.
Prime Minister, given the query by British law lord Lady Simler, will the Prime Minister advise whether the Minister of Finance will be investigated for his role in the failure to provide relevant access to the documentation, preventing the Auditor General from conducting the required audit of the national accounts of Trinidad and Tobago?
I am not aware of any query by any British or other law lord, and I am not aware of any role of the Minister of Finance in failing to provide information to the Auditor General.
Till today, Jayawanti Ramdas still hasn't gotten access to the check clearance system in central bank. Klangenberg said $3.4 billion error was due to our check clearance system. To this day, she has not gotten clearance to check the check clearance system at central bank to prove that what Klangenberg was actually saying is the truth. To this day, that has not been proven. To this date. So I want to know now, the advisors who has been advising Dr. Keith Rowley, didn't they tell him about what was said in the Privy Council? Or he's not aware of it again? I always say, they have parliamentarian rights, they have privilege. But you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you have none. You have none. It's sad, you know. It's sad that these big men could stand up in office and say such things while the whole world is hearing it. They're not aware of it. Trinidad and Tobago was published, broadcast for days in Trinidad and Tobago, but them not aware of it. He, in particular, is not aware of it. But sad we call him Prime Minister. Sad. Although opposition leader Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her MPs stands to benefit from the Salary Review Commission proposed salary increase for politicians, the United National Congress is rejecting the pay hike. Two opposition MPs are demanding Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and Finance Minister Klangenberg to break their silence on the government stance on the SRC report. Princestown MP Barry Patharat asked, why is the government so silent on the SRC's report? This as he reminded that a report had been laid in Parliament earlier this year was sent back to the SRC to address what the government called madness. The minister said, now we have the new amended report before the Parliament and there's a deafening silence from senior cabinet ministers, including Ministry of Finance and the Prime Minister. Listen to this.
And the question must be asked this morning, why is the government so silent on the Salary Reviews Commission report? This report came a few months ago to the Parliament. It was the government's position, not the opposition, it was the government's position that there were anomalies in the Salary Reviews Commission report. The Minister of Finance, being the spokesperson for the Cabinet, the government on this issue, told the Parliament that he will send back this Salary Reviews Commission report to the Commission, identifying that there are anomalies and ask the Commission to address the anomalies. Fast forward from then to now, we now have this new amended report before the Parliament. But it has been over 1 week, almost going on 2 weeks, that the government has laid the report in the House of Representatives. Having not rejected the report months ago, saying to the Salary Reviews Commission, go back and fix it, laying out certain parameters, having brought back the report, as I said, almost 2 weeks ago, and there's a deafening silence from senior cabinet ministers, including the Minister of Finance and the Prime Minister himself. And one must ask why.
Now Trinidad and Tobago, he said, we must ask why the PM and Finance Minister having demonized petrol workers for salaries, cost of living, and said the public servant need to tighten their belt and hold strain. Listen to this now.
We ask this against the backdrop of that same government, that same Prime Minister, that same Minister of Finance that demonized petrol workers for salaries, cost of living, and allowances. The same cabinet, the same Minister of Finance, and the same Prime Minister who demonized public servants in TSCT, WASA, T&Tech, Tutor, OWTU, saying to Trinidad and Tobago that public servants needed to hold strain, they needed to tighten their belt, that they were earning too much. This was the strategy of the government in shutting down Petrotrin. Let us not forget that. Demonizing workers in this country while they performed a performance appraisal on public sector and public servant workers unjustifiably without any measurable matrix. And this morning, while we ask, why is the government so silent on the SRC report?
So Trinidad and Tobago, you all remember what the Prime Minister said about 2 years back? Take a look at this.
They're coming outside the Prime Minister's office every week and they're shouting at me in case I have it in my pocket to give them. Well, let me tell them tonight, many of you who enjoy that back pay, who's shouting for that back pay, you may get the back pay and lose your job.
So viewers, Padarat said the population had conducted a performance appraisal for the government and determined that they deserve no pay raise, but instead owe the population money. I believe police, they are still waiting on their back pay. How come the SRC and analyze the work of the police and decide to give them their back pay? How come? Where's the SRC considering that? Or is it someone in the SRC, probably related to some MPs or something, or probably related to the Minister of Finance or the ministers in Parliament? How come the police not in line to get back pay? Where's the SRC people? Where are they? How come the SRC ain't evaluating the new guy that is about to take up WASA? How come the SRC ain't evaluating that? You taking an outsider to give them $100,000 plus perks and ain't even know where a leak is in Trinidad. That outsider ain't even know if Point 14 getting water, but he gonna collect $100,000 a month. Where's the SRC evaluating on that? We're not hearing SRC, we're not hearing WASA. No, we're not hearing them. All we're hearing is somebody from the outside coming to be the head of WASA and he collecting 100,000 plus perks. The blasted man I even know what to find a leak in Point 14. It's sad, eh? He even know what St. Mary's Day in Moruga to find out if they're getting water, but he collecting $100,000 a month. Them is the kind of person Marvin Gonzalez, who is the Minister of Public Utilities, wants to put on head position such as WASA. The man maybe even know where Diego Martin is in Trinidad, but he's gonna collect $100,000. The man maybe even know when Shogun is here, but he's gonna collect $100,000 to run WASA. You see, like Marvin them, so them is the people should put between the Joint Select Committee. And ask them, the individual that is coming to head WASA, does he know anything about Trinidad? It's sad enough. It's really, really sad. But nevertheless, Rudy Nathanaar Singh said, now was not the right time for increase. The PM and Inbert are yet to respond to the question on salary increase to MPs. They are very quiet. Viewers, we are going for a short commercial break. But when we come back, we're going to hear about Imbert and floating of the TT dollar after this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow. Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Viewers, Real Talk Equipment have some equipment to sell, viewers, if you are interested. If you are interested in the wrecker, a 7-ton wrecker, beautiful condition. Look at the condition of this truck. Look at the condition. It's beautiful. There's also a crane to go with this wrecking truck. So viewers, those of you interested in going into heavy equipment transportation, or you want to go into the wrecking business, this is the perfect truck for you. It is a registered wrecker. There's also a crane on this truck, viewers. So those of you interested in it, it's 2 jobs in 1. You could never be out of work. You're interested, contact me at 339-1670 and this could be yours. Also, we have a 306E, it's a new model excavator, viewers. Those of you interested, you're going into the construction business, this is the perfect thing. Or if you are a contractor, you're looking for a 306 and mini excavator to buy, this is the perfect thing for you. Remember, this piece of equipment also have a grader in front to grade your road while you're making your drainage. Remember that, viewers? There's also a grader in front. The persons of interest for tonight, viewers. I love to do it, sinner. This part is what I love to do. Saieed Ali. Saieed Ali, you're missing in action. Your friends and them say they're not seeing you. You move out from where you was. You're into hiding. So we are offering $10,000 for Tyreek and this Toyota Aqua. PED 9540. Anyone could bring this Aqua to us. Let me tell you something. You will be getting $10,000 in cash. Also, Megan. I'll tell you a little bit about this car in a little while. Also, Megan wants to play hide and seek. Never mind. We don't mind that. You want to play hide and seek? Nothing wrong with that. You see, the more we highlight you, is the more the people will understand that Megan will inside and refuse to pay. And in return, her friends will refuse to lend her. And that is it. Now, viewers, today, our inspector was by me. So he said, Saieed, I see a papa man there looking for me, looking for a car. I say, yeah. He said, organize the information for me. So staff printed out the info. We gave him a Saieed Ali. We give him the last known address. We give him reference. We give him picture of the vehicle. And he made some phone calls one time. And right in front of me. Just imagine Tyreek friends telling the officer that watchman, that man like this man go on senile. Yeah? The man running, the man hiding, the man doing all kind of things. 1 minute we hear from him, 1 minute we ain't hearing from him, and it going on like that. But nevertheless, it's $10,000 being rewarded for anybody who could find the car and bring it for us. That would be a nice Christmas change right there. Just drop back the car there. A nice Christmas change, 10,000 cash in your hand for if you bring this car to us. Anybody, I don't care who you are. This offer is for the general public. You find the car, you bring it by me, 10,000 in your hand. One time. So that is our offer for you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So as we start our program tonight, viewers, again, remember, Real Talk Finance, we offer you 4% on fixed deposit, viewers. Remember that we are the only financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago licensed that is doing that. 4% up front. You're not getting this anywhere else. Remember, you're not getting no part payment, you know. You're getting your money up front. That is how we do it here at Real Talk Financing. So if you're looking for cash borrow, it's not a problem. You can always contact me too. Licensed money lender. If you're having spiritual problems, you want to contact me, not a problem. Our business numbers are on screen, viewers. Contact any one of the numbers, set up an appointment, come in, meet with staff, have a discussion. So we're going on to news tonight. Finance Minister Clongenbert continue to dig in his heel amid the ongoing debate about what should be done about the country's foreign exchange issue, saying if he float the TT dollar, food price would skyrocket. Now, I want us to understand something. The Trinidad and Tobago dollar cannot be floated. If this dollar is floated, economical hardship will come upon us. Trust me. The 2 and the 300 you're going in the market with and in the grocery, it will have no value. None. If we float the TNT dollar, we're going to end up in more problems. If you're getting 3 items with $100 in the grocery, you may get one item when you go to the grocery with that $100. Food price is going to go up. Every single thing is going to go up. Your salary will have no value. Understand this. Ebert maintains he will not float the dollar. No matter pressure from commentators, editors, or front page headline. They do not understand. Let me tell you something. We can't afford to float the dollar. I telling all of this from a financial background, you know. Float this dollar this time, we end up in problem, you know. If you're paying 25 cents for a plaster to put on a cut, you might pay $1 for that same 25-cent plaster. Understand what I'm telling all you. We will end up in problems anytime Clungenberg float that dollar. And he is saying to the general public that we are not going to do that. Listen to this.
Allow the dollar to slide, the price of food is going to go up by 30 to 40% right away. Might even go up by 50% because most of our food is imported. And we don't grow wheat here. We don't make cheese here. You know, we don't make flour here. I mean, we have to import all of these things. We don't have any great production of beef or anything like that. So most of the food that we consume has to be imported. So the first thing that would happen if I listen to these characters, and I say, no problem, let's float it. The first thing that will happen, the price of food might go up by 50%. Then what do you get? The trade unions will come quite justifiably and say the cost of living just went up by 25-30%. So we want a 25-30% increase in wages. Who's going to pay for that? Where's that money going to come from? So that there is no way I am going to allow myself to be bullied by these people to do something stupid, which is to let our dollar depreciate and make life so much harder for everybody in Trinidad and Tobago. And the only people that could possibly benefit from a devaluation or a flotation, as they call it, is people who have large amounts of US dollars hoarding somewhere overseas.
Now, viewers, if the dollar is floated in Trinidad and Tobago, one USA dollar will be selling for $10 TT. Yeah, $10 TT. Presently, I am paying $7.50 TT to 1 US. Imagine that. Because I need it. Hence the reason why we are paying that amount, $7.50. Imagine that, eh? Earlier, Embert said, through his own research, a major increase in credit card use was responsible for Forex shortage. Listen to this, we go talk after.
I said, tell me what's going on. We were looking at credit card usage, for example, because I had a belief that, look, one of the problems that is behind our foreign exchange issue is the use of credit cards. And believe it or not, 50% increase in the number of cards, 50% increase in spend by credit card users over the last 5 years. But I had to do that research myself.
Now, I did say when we aired this video that the increase for credit card usage, that alone will tell you how expensive things are on the shelves in Trinidad and Tobago. People are finding it cheaper online. More and more people are going to the bank to access credit cards to shop online. Because when you're paying $50 for a shirt in Trinidad, when you buy it online, shipping and clearing, you might get it in your house for $10. $10. TT. You're saving $40. You just had to wait how much? About a week? 2 weeks? And you're saving $40. So here's the reason why people are going more on the credit card usage way, because they're saving them money. Nevertheless, we are going for a short commercial break, viewers. But when we come back, you're going to hear from the Ministry of Finance. We'll take the 4% or leave it. Woo, after this.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtalk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtalk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
Become a member of Real Talk Credit Union, now located at number 14 Caroni Savannah Road, Chaguanas. Open a fixed deposit with Real Talk Investments and get 4% on interest with interest payment being paid upfront. Get in contact with us at 238-6716, 231-6219 or 339-1670. Real Talk Credit Union Cooperative Society Limited. Plant a seed today for a better tomorrow. Life throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery. At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
So welcome my viewers. The Minister of Finance, Clongenberg, have stated that WIG-UT's demand for a 24% salary increase with back pay amounting to $701 million cannot be met, since it will be a huge burden on taxpayers. So I want to ask the SRC, who evaluate the MPs and the judge, and those MPs and them, and high official members, when the SRC was doing their evaluation, they didn't realize that that would be a burden on the taxpayers' dollar too, or the taxpaying citizens. The SRC didn't realize that. As I say, somebody in the SRC probably connected to somebody in the ministerial office. They don't care if the taxpayers feel it or not. But Clongenberg is saying that a 24% salary increase will be a burden to the taxpayers. Or let's see Trinidad and Tobago that do so and like so, but we blind and we dumb and we stupid in Trinidad as citizens. The Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance, the commissioner, the judges, those high officials could get a salary increase. But the workers cannot get an increase, right? Well done, SRC. Well done. One by one, I should get deaf in the morning. One by one, you all should get deaf in the morning. Or the entire board of the SRC. All should get deaf and all should get blind. You know why I said deaf? Let me explain to you why I said deaf. When I say deaf, meaning that they only hearing cha-ching for the ministers and them. They deserve a pay increase. But coming to the workers now who protesting for their salary, SRC not hearing them. So they should get blind. No. Coming to see it now, why they should get blind. Not too long ago, the port in Trinidad and Tobago had a strike. They demanded their increase. They demanded their increase. But according to the industrial court judge, they should stop protesting and go back to work. And if you're getting a pumpsy to eat, keep your mouth quiet and eat your pumpsy. But the Minister of National Security, who can't seem to put on a proper foundation to fix crime in Trinidad and Tobago, he should get a pay increase. The Commissioner of Police, who don't have a strategy plan in her brains of being the Commissioner of Police to fix crime, she must get an increase. Hence the reason why I said those on the SRC board should get blind, because they can't see the port workers protesting and they can't see Ola don't have a plan to fix crime. So now that I have explained myself fully why they should get deaf and why they should get blind. You know why I say that? Because these bloody hell people living right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And until crime and knock on one of them door, until one of them lost their vehicle, or until something like that happened to them, they wouldn't see, they wouldn't understand. You are a high official in this country, and you in pain in the same country you're living in. Call a good night.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Go right ahead, you're live.
Saeed, I like what you're talking tonight, boy. It's an email on here again.
Is it raw facts?
Yeah, no, it's true. But listen to this, right? I'm trying to figure out, right? The finance minister saying the country has no money, right? Mm-hmm. Why it is they build a building in La Joqueta, a library, a public library, costing $40 million? You can answer that question to me. Who does use a library in this day and age? Everybody you know have a cell phone.
Correct.
With internet to do research. Who went in a library this day and age? $40 million? I come into the realization that PNM supporters don't know where $1 million is look like here. So they don't know the value of $40 million. And I watching that building there. You think I seen in that building this side is corruption and
Yeah.
That's all I see there, you know. But people don't understand what's going on in the country, boy. The finance minister balling he has no money to run the country. But yet they're spending $40 million on a library.
Correct.
And I have a message for the housing minister tonight, right?
Tell me.
They asked her about the SRC and what the opposition leader said concerning the SRC, and she don't want no pay increase and things. And she response to that was that if they could keep money from the public purse, they would need an increase. Let me tell you something here tonight. 2.6 billion still unaccounted for.
Correct.
On the she government with the present finance minister. And we are getting no answers, nobody opening them out, and nobody is saying anything concerning the taxpayers' money. We want to know where that $2.6 billion gone. So before you call other people's fees, you need to watch your own government. Saeed, you enjoy your night.
Thank you, my friend. Now, viewers, Imbert said he doesn't think that there will be a collapse of the St. Augustine campus. He then laid out some historical facts into perspective. Now, Endorsing asks, what urgent measures were being used by the government to avoid a complete shutdown of the UWI St. Augustine campus? Listen to this.
Over the period August 2011 to July 2014, the then Ministerial Committee under the previous administration approved a 10% adjustment in compensation for academic and senior staff at the University of the West Indies, represented by the West Indies Group of University Teachers, WIGUT. It was a 4% salary adjustment followed by an additional 6% distributed as follows. From 2011, a 1% increase, additional 1% on top of the 4. From 2012, July, another 1% on top of the original 4%. And from 2013, a further 4% on top of the original 4%, totaling a 10% adjustment between 2011 and 2014. The government has since extended its 4% offer that has been made to the public service and the protective services, and has been accepted by several of the protective services, for the periods 2014 to 2017 and 2017 to 2020 to WIGUT. I am advised that WIGUT refused to consider the last period, 2017 to 2020, and has not accepted the offer for the period 2014 to 2017. I am told that the WIGUT is asking for the following. With effect from July 2014, 8%, with effect from July 2015, another 8%, and with effect from 2016, another 8%, a total of 24% for the period 2014 to 2017.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, the minister also noted that if they were to accept the proposal from WIG-UT, the back pay would be $710 million, and the government and taxpayers would have to pay for the increase. Listen to this now.
The recurrent cost of the proposal from WIGUT is estimated at an additional $78 million per annum for the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus. If we were to accept the proposal from WIGUT, the back pay would be $701 million as at March 2024. The cost of the 4% offer, which we have offered to everybody else and which has been accepted by most trade unions, is estimated at back pay of $79 million and $12 million in additional recurrent expenditure. And it is no secret, the member can pretend otherwise, that UWI is funded by the state with hundreds of millions of dollars in subventions. For the 2018 to 2019 year, the government subvention was $517 million. For the 2019 to 2020 year, $520 million. For 2020-21, $528 million. And therefore, any settlement of wages at UWI will place the responsibility on the government and taxpayers to fund this increase. I do not think it is prudent to impose a burden of back pay of $701 million on the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. There are means to settling disputes. There are dispute resolution procedures, and I would urge all parties to utilize the available dispute resolution procedures.
Now, my question again, the increase that the ministers is going to get, or those high officials that the SRC said that they need a pay increase, and the burden is falling on the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and the burden is falling on the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. Hence the reason why I ask, is the board of the SRC blind? That is why I asked that. And that is why I said they should get blind. If you want to play blind, get blind. Don't play blind. If you want to play deaf, by all means get deaf. Don't play deaf. So the taxpayers is going to pay, or it will come down to the taxpayers to pay WIG, right? But the taxpayers wouldn't have a burden if the ministers on them get a salary increase by the SRC. So if the taxpayers ain't burdening on that, who feeling that pinch? Could somebody from the SRC come out and make a statement? Because trust me, I'll come damn good, eh? Come damn good. I telling all of that. I telling all of that. Because trust me, if you want to play blind, I know how all could get blind. If all want to play deaf, I know how all could get deaf. And I'm proud enough to say it on national television. You know why? I am a Trinbagonian. I am a black Trinbagonian businessman right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's right here the SRC people living. A man like me just come out and talk like this, you know. You know why? Because there's raw facts all they're getting. Now listen to this. Klong stated that it is ridiculous for the opposition to ask taxpayers to fund a settlement in wages matter which is funded by taxpayers. He stressed that the matter was not about government interference but affordability. Hold on. Hold on. So SRC, Klong and Birds, Dr. Rowley, who is funding your back pay? Who is funding your increase? All come now man talk now man, all us big businessmen, all us members of parliament, who funding all the increase? And again, I will direct this question to the SRC. Who is funding the increase? So I would like somebody from the SRC now to compile a nice document stating who is going to fund the back pay and the increase and the pension plan for all these high officials. Where's that money coming from? That money coming from out of Trinidad and Tobago? Or is it being generated by the tax-paying citizens of this country? SRC, don't play dumb and don't play blind. Because trust me, Olega wants to go down that road. Trust me on that. Listen to this video.
Madam Speaker, it is ridiculous for the member opposite to ask taxpayers of this country to fund a settlement in a wage matter which is funded by the taxpayers. The government has to fund UWI. Even this 4% offer will cost the government $79 million. It is absurd, and I know that the former UNC government did not...
Member, please allow the Minister to respond. Minister, please.
Madam Speaker, it is absurd, and I know that the former UNC government did not do that. They did not allow statutory authorities and state enterprises to just give away the shop on 25% increase, 50% increase, 75% increase without any ministerial intervention. There was a ministerial committee under the UNC government, and we followed them. And we have simply changed the name. It's called the Human Resource Advisory Committee. But it's the same committee. It is chaired by Corporation Sole and has a number of ministers that look at the impact of wage settlements on the Treasury. So the member for Akuba South is fooling no one. It is not ministerial interference or intervention. It is a question of affordability. You can't have a state enterprise or statutory authority just lumping $700 million in back pay on the taxpayers of this country.
So again, I ask them, who is going to fund their back pay? The ministers. The ones who the SRC evaluated and said they should get a salary increase. Who again is funding that? not the taxpayers of Trinidad and Tobago. Hence the reason why I am bending like this with the SRC. Now here is Trinidad and Tobago. Finance Minister is saying to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, or the workers of Trinidad and Tobago, or the WIGUT, W-I-G-U-T, meaning the West Indian Group of University Teachers. Clogging is telling them, is either you take the 4% or nothing. Correct? You know what is the increase percentage rate for the Prime Minister? It is 46% increase. Correct? 47. 47% increase for the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. But the Minister of Finance is telling WIGUT, let me tell you something. Is either I'll take the 4% or I don't take nothing at all. But the Prime Minister getting a 46% increase. How much Clogging Board getting? Let's look at Clogging Board. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. This is why scientists be like this. If they had nobody to come out and challenge the government, if they had nobody to come out and put Clogging Board in a corner and let them know, hey, don't be a clown. You got to tell me the Prime Minister getting a 46% increase. A public servant had to satisfy. They had to be satisfied with 4%. And Clogging Board now telling them if all they take it, leave it. And then they had those in authority now backing up the SRC while the Commissioner of Police can't come up with a plan to fix crime. While Clogging Board can't tell Central Bank to release US currency in all the banks so businessmen could have access to it. Nah, man, there had to be some jokers. Or there had to be some really, really jokers. And we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, we had to... you see the 41 MPs that have in Parliament? We, the citizens, have to be 1 year old. We have to be 1 year old people in Trinidad and Tobago to listen to the 41N. Take what I'm telling all you. When I come here, I don't come to make friends, you know. I come to tell all you what's taking place in our country. I bring a news story in a different way. I'm breaking it down like you're breaking body. For you to understand. And yet all you want to call and say, Saeed, you're bashing. A bashing? The Prime Minister who all put again a 46% increase in salary, while you, the public servant, had to take your 4% and shut your mouth. What they start a average. So Trinidad and Tobago, the MPs that are due for an increase, according to the SRC, they are going to get approximately 38% increase. 38% increase. Who's funding that SRC? Oh, let's come now, man, say something. Don't play all the dumb and play all the blind in the background. Come out and tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who funding that. Clogging Board is due for a 38% increase. But the West Indian Group of University Teachers, they have to settle for how much? 4%. Public servant have to settle for how much? 4%. Police had to get how much? 4%. Fire had to get how much? 4%. WASA workers had to get how much? 4%. Port workers had to get how much? Or let's stop protesting and go back to work. That's what they get. That's what they get. So now I want to ask now, all the union leaders in Trinidad and Tobago, where are you and what are you for now? Where are you and what are you for now? Now that the MP in your community is set to get a 38% increase, how much is the union leaders now fighting for their workers? I'll open all their mouth and burn now. Open all their mouths and burn now. Let's talk now. Now it's time for us to come out and talk. Now it's time. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to zip all them out. And the SRC going to say, you know what, these qualified people, you for an increase, and we go give them an increase. And we so stupid in this country, we go fund their increase, while we just now we go care buy bread, butter, and milk. Just now we go care buy flour. Just now when they're buying 2 chicken the last of the week, when they go by the pluck shop, I want half a chicken. All they go like me, and I'm glad all they like me. But it's the truth, it had a settling on their soul. El Karima Zubaree Aba Unto Kuramba Ina Anta. There some will see, and you still not would believe. I feel like I'm preaching tonight, boy. So Trinidad and Tobago, this is the truth of what is taking place in our country, and we cannot do nothing about it. So like I said, if the SRC wants to play blind to what is taking place in the country, all well and good, they could be blind for me. Let them feel their way around. And if they want to be deaf, it's all well and good with me, because when they're crossing the road, they don't have to hear when a car passing. The SRC not seeing what's taking place in Trinidad and Tobago. The SRC not seeing this protest after protest after protest. The SRC is not seeing that the government is telling workers is either going to take 4% or nothing. But the SRC and realize is a 38% increase those officials will be getting. I'll sure really get blind and deaf. Trust me. Because advantage could never done in this country. Hence the reason why we are where we are today. In a degrading state. In a degrading state. Imagine those in authority. To tell how we so degrading, they make more than trying to stay down here. That's how degrading we are in this country. But nevertheless, viewers, we have come to the end of our program for tonight. But stay tuned tomorrow. Locked in from 7 to 8 on our next night, and you'll catch me live. Until then, be safe.